What is up, buds? Thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Mac Dizzle, and today, as you can tell by the title, it's a little bit more of a serious video. But before we get into all of that, before we get into all that seriousness, I do have this super awesome vape that I'm gonna be seshing on. It is the Aria Vape by X Vape. Boom. I've actually been seshing on this for the last couple days, just kind of trying it out, testing it out. I'm pretty blown away by how well it functions as a dry herb vape. One of my biggest issues with dry herb vapes is that it's really hard to get a good rip out of them. It's hard to get like a good hit. And if I'm not getting a good hit, I mentally, maybe I'm wrong, I just feel like I'm not getting high. So this vape gets it done. Get the vape, it comes in this box, if I can open it with one hand. It comes in this box, real nice and neat. It has all of its accessories like chargers, cleaners, all the things that you need like that. How you turn it on, you click it 3 times. And boom, you can see that it's already starting to heat up. What I really like about this is that it has the indications of the temperature that you have it set to. I have it set to its highest setting, which is 464, and it stays on for 5 minutes. So it has a little countdown right there. So once it reaches its temperature, that countdown right there, that 459 will start, and it'll stay on for 5 minutes and then turn off automatically. It also gives you that battery reading, so I love it. So you can adjust the temperature with these little up and down arrows. As you can see, it's going down right now. I'm gonna turn it back up. That's as hot as it goes. And boom, you have your little charging port. Very easy, very fun vape. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pack this little buddy right here. Boom. So it's heating up. Once it heats up, it does vibrate, so it lets you know when it's ready to go. Boom, just vibrated. So as you can see, for a dry herb vape, this thing rips. Okay, so this story. I did have an ex-boyfriend expose my nudes. I'm not talking about my most recent ex, Aaron. He's a good man, he's a nice man, we're still good friends. He did not do anything horrible to me. This was actually like an older story. So this incident happened about 10 years ago, actually, when I was still in high school. So I know I have a lot of kind of younger fans within the age of like 16 to like 24. And so I think that this story is really helpful and relevant to a lot of girls right now. We're in an age where sending naked pictures back and forth is pretty normal. It's not an unheard of thing, but it's something that absolutely is putting your privacy at risk. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and dive into the story. While I do that, I'm gonna be seshing on this vape. We'll set the scene. I believe I was a junior in high school, and I had been dating this guy who was a year older than me, and his mom and my mom, to this day, actually are still pretty good friends. We were dating, and while we were dating, I was exploring my sexuality. I was like 16, and I was like sending him these provocative pictures. They weren't like pussy out, like whatever, but it was like boobs, you know, like in my underwear, you know, like I was trying to be sexy. So I had sent him those pictures. Obviously things didn't work out. We broke up a couple months later, and it ruined him. It really tore him up that we broke up. And I really tried to be as sympathetic as possible as I could. Like, I'm a very I'm a very empathetic person, so like people going through pain, like I can feel that. And so I obviously didn't want him to feel that way, but I didn't want to torture myself by staying with him. So we broke up. He was fucked up about it. And what you need to know is this was around the time when iPod touches, like the smaller iPod touches, had just started to like come out, and apps were just starting to become a thing. So like Instagram didn't exist, Snapchat didn't exist, none of those things existed. But I was like fascinated by the internet, and I was on a couple different apps, one of them being called Graffitio. And Graffitio was basically like a giant chat room where you could just like talk to a bunch of different people from all over the place. And it was basically just like a chat room, and there were like different chat rooms that you could go into. I was a pretty big user on there when I was 16 or whatever. And and like I had a ton of friends on that internet community, and I was like a well-known user on that app. And when my ex and I broke up, he had also started fiddling around in that app and kind of became friends with some of the internet friends that I had. And he took it upon himself when we broke up. He got really drunk one night and he sent those photos to one of the users on that app, along with several people at my school. He sent my nudes to several people at my school, and one of the dudes who I was friends with on that app, or who I thought I was friends with on that app. And come to find out, like, I didn't go on that app for a while. I had no idea that my nudes were circulating around at this point. How I found out was that I logged into that app like a couple weeks later, and I was like trying to be like, hey, what's up, what's going on here? And people just kept referring to me as the tits of Graffitio, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? And a girl on there ended up messaging me and told me like the whole thing that went down, that the user, the guy who I thought was my friend, ended up changing his whole profile picture to my nudes. And everyone on that app knew about it. I was being shamed left and right. I basically got booed off that app, and I couldn't show my face on there without being harassed. It was really, really a horrible thing for me, because like at the time, like, I wasn't great at making friends in person, so like having this like online community of people I could talk to was something that I really valued. And looking back on it, yes, I get it. Like, you don't know who anyone is on the internet, but like we added each other on Facebook. It was like friends like that. Like, we made internet friends. I made some real connections on there, or so I thought. And then come to find out, it was also people at my school that had them. And so everywhere I went, I felt like people were just judging me, and like I felt like everyone had seen the pictures. So those pictures started circulating around to people at my school, and it got into my friend group. And where I thought I would have like some support and some sympathy, I got a cold shoulder and more slut shaming. Basically, these like not all of my friends. The ones who I had a conversation with about it were not kind to me. Basically, their response was, why did you even send those pictures? He shouldn't have had those in the first place. And like, granted, I get it, but like, nobody deserves to have their privacy invaded like that just because they don't want to be with you anymore, you know? Like, I really thought like I'd get a little more support in that aspect. Instead, they were just like, you're a slut, you know? So that was really shitty, and it really had a huge effect on my psyche, and I was really depressed for a long time after that. It wasn't just like a year, it was years that this affected me. And so when I say that this affected me for years, I really mean like it just stopped affecting me in the last 5 years. I don't mean like affecting me mentally. I mean in the sense that I would get messages on Facebook from random men, grown men who I had never met, a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later, 5 years later, with those pictures of me from when I was 16, saying, is this you? Somehow, some way, those pictures are floating out there in the internet, and people have a connection somehow to get to that Facebook, and proceeded to try to contact me about it. And that for me had such a tremendous, like, I felt out of control. I felt like everything was out of my control, and I fucking hated it. I felt so powerless because of it. And so when I was like 18, 19, or no, I was 20. When I was 20, I had just broken up with a different ex, and somebody had messaged me on Facebook like a month after that with those photos of me when I was 16, which by the way is underage porn. If you're looking at photos of people under the age of 18 and it's graphic, it's underage porn. Looking back on it, hindsight, I should have been like, hey, you have underage porn, and I'm gonna press charges right now. Didn't even think about that. I was just horrified and embarrassed. But yeah, up until 5 years ago, I was still getting those pictures, and so like the last time I got those pictures, I basically just, in my head, I said, fuck it, I don't care anymore. People want to see, people are gonna see. And I had this whole Instagram page, the original MacDizzle420, my original Instagram. I basically took all these scandalous in my underwear pictures all the time. That was all I posted on there, like pictures of me with my tits out and just my hair covering me, like underwear, ass shots. Like, it was a way for myself, I guess, to be like, I have control again. You know, like, I have control. I'm posting these things. Yeah, you have those pictures of me from when I was 16, but this is my choice. I'm posting this. This is my choice to post these. But it didn't really make me feel better. It didn't really make me happy. And I think it was good to kind of have my control back in that sense, but at the same time, like, that wasn't the kind of person that I was, and that wasn't the kind of content that I wanted to be posting. I was just trying to feel like I had power again. Yeah, that's basically what happened. It wasn't like a school-wide thing, and well, maybe, you know what, it probably was, just not everyone told me about it. But as soon as one person at a school knows something, everyone at the school knows something. I wasn't very popular in high school, so probably wasn't hot news, but it is what it is. And so I wanted to share this story because I feel like we're at this time, especially now with how easy it is with iMessage and all these different apps and Snapchat and all, like, I can't even imagine where if they had all of this stuff when I was a teenager, I feel like I would have been so irresponsible that my nudes would be everywhere at this point. And I feel a little lucky to be a little older now and to understand like how risky that kind of behavior is. And you never know who you're gonna grow up to be. You never know where you're gonna be in life. So you have to take these precautions early. I'm saying, like, 10 years ago when someone did that kind of stuff to you, it was just like, oh, you're fucked. It wasn't really like you could go to I didn't even tell my parents about this when it happened. I was so ashamed of myself. I didn't even tell my parents about it. And my mom was friends with my ex's mom. She still is. Like, I didn't tell them until like 7 years later. Yeah, I was so embarrassed I couldn't even tell them. And so what I'm saying is now, if you are someone who feels like they want to send those kinds of images, please just be careful. Please make sure you trust this person. Please make sure you have a conversation with them about that. And also, like, maybe don't include your face in any of the pictures, you know? No face, no case. Yeah, it's a cautionary tale. I was severely depressed for a really, really long time after that. For like probably like 2 years, I was like severely depressed. And then like 3 years after that, I was just going in and out of it. And like every now and then getting messages from random grown men saying like, hey, is this you? Like, oh, blah, blah, like just creepy, gross stuff. And I was in a place where I didn't really have anyone to talk to about it. I didn't have anyone. I wasn't close with my parents at that time. And I was just like going through it alone. And so if you are going through something like that right now, if you are a victim of someone doing something shysty like that to you, I want you to know, like, first of all, it's not your fault. Second of all, that person is a piece of shit to betray your trust like that. And third of all, you're not a slut. You don't need to feel bad about yourself. Those pictures were never meant for, those images were never meant for anyone except for who you sent them to. So for someone to betray your trust like that is really horrible, and I don't want you to feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. You just need to own yourself and love yourself. Just know that there are a ton of people out there who are going through something similar. Also, if you're doing sexual things with an ex or with a boyfriend and he wants to whip out his phone and film it, like, I wouldn't let him do that. Like, just me personally. I just know how much pain can drive someone to make stupid decisions, and you never know what's gonna happen in the future. And for someone to have that kind of power over you and have those kind of images against you is so risky to me. Like, I'm able to talk about it now, and I'm able to kind of like maybe like kind of like lightheartedly like talk about it, but like I said, for a long time I was severely affected by this, and it was bad. It was bad. Like, self-harm, like a lot of different things I went through after that went down. But I'm blessed to be here now, and I'm happy to be able to have the story to share with you guys so that I maybe can be a little bit of a word of caution to you, you know? On a lighter note, if you're interested in my super awesome hat, I actually designed this hat myself, litty titty, those are boobs. You can get it on my merch website. I do have merch. It is macdizzle.com. Please check it out. It's an amazing place to find some fun merch. Please make sure you check out Aria. That's Aria Vape by X Vape. Their information is right here. Do you see it? Right there. It's lovely. Aria X Vape. Alright, well, if you would like to see more stoning content from me, please check out my WeedTube channel. There's a link to a really fresh video in the description of this video. So please click it, please watch it, please enjoy yourself. Please click the link to go check out these guys. Be good to other people. Don't judge other people. You never know what someone else is going through. So if someone's short with you, if someone's rude to you, try not to hit them back with that same energy, you know? I hope you have a beautiful, 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 beautiful day, night, morning, evening, afternoon.